Okay, so here we go with part two. What this is basically just a case. I'm going to break it down for you. A kind of review case, reviewing how to do the big problems, the treatment plan system, and how to put it together. We'll put it all together for a shoulder case. It's similar to all the stuff we were going over last week. To keep reviewing all that stuff. So Joe is a mechanic. He's got pain with wrenching cars overhead. Above shoulder height, he's doing that all day long. He says the pain is right above his acromion, near the spine of his scapula. That's key information. So these cases, you got to figure out what's going on. It's not going to give you the answer. You got to figure out what anatomy is the problem. When it says pain above the acromion, near the spine of the scapula, usually you're talking a rotator cuff muscle. That's what we're talking about here. You should know right off. Okay, I know which muscle starts there and is commonly torn and irritated. The pain is provoked with 90 degrees of shoulder abduction and worsens with resistance. Whoa, that's another great clue. Which muscles abduct the shoulder? There's two of them. Middle deltoid and the supraspinatus. And that reaching with abduction with pain, that's the painful arc test. So again, you should start to think, okay, that's the muscle. I'm starting to think about which tests I want to do. It's got forward head, rounded shoulders, limited trunk rotation, just like our Coke bottle driver. Wants to be pain-free, started 9 months ago. Problems with ADLs, getting the shirt on and off. This guy's if it's a t-shirt, they pull it right overhead. You can envision doing that. Jacket, reaching back into that jacket, it's also a problem. And seat belts. Ooh, seat belts, big common problem with rotator cuff issues, internal rotation, abduction, all that sort of stuff. He's got pain with that. It says impaired shoulder abduction. It's kind of deceptive. I don't think it would make more sense if he didn't have impaired shoulder abduction. That's not so key. What's key here is this weakness. 3+ out of 5 pain with abduction. He's got weakness and pain with abduction. Again, it clues into it's all consistent, telling us it's probably the supraspinatus. Which test would you do for the supraspinatus? We just went over this. Painful arc, definitely do the empty full cam. A lot more effective test, do that one. Assuming it's positive, where would you palpate? You're going to palpate the supraspinatus. And that's where you're going to do your ultrasound and all your treatments. Now let's do the treatment plan. Let's see if I can do that. Kind of work it through that for you. Okay, so let's pull this case up. Here's Joe. So what are his problems? We know his problem with seat belts and Don Dolph's shirt. So Don Dolph jacket. And then the measure in this case is the pain. 8 to 10, I think, for the seat belt. And there's 7 to 10 for the rest. This is a quick version. This isn't as thorough and complete as I'd want you to do on the midterm, just to give you the idea of it. What do you think the problem is? I think the problem is supraspinatus. Is that spelled right? Can't tell. Irritation. Could be torn, but most likely it's just irritated. Supraspinatus irritation. I think that's the problem. And I would ask, how do you know that? What's your evidence? Let's assume he was positive. Empty full cam. Positive. Painful arc. Test. Positive. Palpation of the supraspinatus. What I'm looking for is a clear, consistent support. It all makes sense. It's not inconsistent. You're not saying supraspinatus irritation, but I'm going to do the speeds test. It would make no sense. It has to be all consistent and all kind of lead to the same conclusion. He's got pain, weakness, 3+/5 with abduction, shoulder abduction. That's a key clue. That really tells you that you're on the right path. This will tell the doctor, you know what you're talking about. You figure this out. How are we going to treat it? This is right from your treatment box. Certain things we're doing over and over again, though, that are consistent, similar with these shoulders, except for where we're really targeting some of our treatments. Get him moving. Aerobic. Sleep with abducted. Shoulder sleep's an issue with him. You could do pendulums. We always do pendulums. Think of the posture. Chin tucks. He's got all of it going on. Rows. Trunk rotation would be good for him too. Open up the space. Good guys. How are we going to do that? Shoulder extension. How else are we going to do that? Shoulder external rotation. Work on that. We try supine, passive range of motion, active assisted range of motion with long starts, linear planes, such as shoulder flexion. And then later on, how are you going to progress this? Stop aggravating activities. Are you going to stop at? How are you going to progress that? I'm sorry. Just more aggressive. Resume activities. Resistive exercises. And this is more you could put here. And I would expect more, because there is more. You look at those treatment boxes, a lot more. But just to give you a quick idea. Goals. I will don jacket with 5 out of 10 pain. And then you'd maybe 3 out of 10 pain. In 2 weeks, no, 4 weeks. So some time for chicken work. And you do that for each one of these. I would expect 3 goals for that. That's kind of how we put it together. This is the key part right here that throws people off. And just knowing all this information from the treatment boxes. Goals are usually a piece of cake, and usually people are sticking to the functional stuff here. So that's how you would do that. Okay, let's get out of this. Get out of that. So let me close this thing out.